The night settles and the world becomes quiet. The air is soft and cool, the light is low and unhurried, and a wide stillness unfolds like a calm sea. You stand at the gentle edge of an ancient landscape where grass leans lightly to a steady breeze, and the earth carries a slow memory of stone. Far horizons lie in pale tones, and above them the stars drift in patient lines. You take a slow step, and the sound fades quickly. A second step, and the ground feels firm, reassuring, familiar. The body loosens, the breath lengthens, the shoulders sink, and time begins to move at the pace of the heart. Around you, the shapes of old monuments rise as quiet silhouettes. Their surfaces are worn smooth by seasons, their angles softened, their weight composed. They do not call for attention, they simply remain, and in their presence your mind settles like dust to a level floor. The air tastes faintly of mineral and night mist, a mild coolness on the skin, a steady rhythm in the chest, and the slow pulse of the earth beneath your feet. Each moment arrives and passes like a wave that never breaks, leaving only calm. And in this calm you begin a gentle passage through time. Not to solve, not to decide, only to drift along paths that have waited for centuries. The path threads among low stones and sleeping walls. It curves without urgency, and you follow with small, deliberate steps. The sky opens wider with every breath, constellations sliding in silence. The wind draws thin lines through the grass and across the edges of carved rock. You feel the evenness of the ground, a soft resistance, a quiet support, and your thoughts grow light and unknotted. The mind takes the shape of the landscape, broad, uncluttered, steady. Somewhere far off, a hillside holds a darker contour against the dim sky. A riverbed glints faintly like a memory of water. The land turns slowly under the night, and the stars move with it, steady and sure. You sense the patient craft of distant hands within these stones, the steady touch that set them here, the simple care that aligned edges and faces, the intention that required no words, only time. In that recognition, your breath eases again. The chest opens, the jaw softens, the eyes grow heavy. You keep walking, heel to toe, calm to calmer, and the present moment lengthens like a shoreline at low tide. The quiet gathers and deepens. Sounds grow round and distant, even your own steps sound far away, as if the earth were carrying you rather than you crossing it. The night has a gentle weight, not pressing, only wrapping, and within it the body feels light and balanced. Inhale slow and even, exhale a little longer, a measured drift toward rest. The monuments hold their places with a grace that needs no effort. Each block rests at ease with the next, each line settled into the contours of the ground, and your attention rests in the same way, fitting naturally into the shape of stillness. The path widens into an open field where low stones mark a quiet boundary. Here you pause, not to think, only to notice. A mild breeze moves across your face and through your hands. The skin cools and warms in small cycles, the breath remains smooth, the heart unhurried. The field carries no urgency and time loosens further. The horizon is a soft band, the sky above it a deeper tone, the stars like dust, the field like a quiet room, and you like a leaf on clear water, drifting without need. The old world surrounds you, yet asks nothing. It offers steadiness. It invites ease. It shows how weight can rest and how edges can soften. As you stand within it, the mind follows, the muscles follow, the breath follows, everything lowers, everything slows. The journey opens not by distance, but by comfort, a corridor of calm that begins here and extends as far as you wish. With each step, you move deeper into a spacious quiet where stone, air, and night are one continuous surface, smooth and kind. And in this surface, your attention lies flat and peaceful, ready to continue. The stones of Japan. The air in Japan's highlands carries a calm unlike anywhere else. It moves softly between cedar trees, cool and fragrant, brushing over the surfaces of old granite, the kind of quiet air that holds time inside it. In the gentle hills of Hyogo, where the land folds like slow waves, there rests a monument carved so precisely that it seems to hover above the world. The stone is called Ishi-no-Hoden. It is vast, cut from the living earth, and yet it appears weightless, balanced upon a pool of water that mirrors the dim sky above. At night, the reflection of the moon touches its surface, and the stone seems to float between two worlds, one of earth, one of sky. As you stand near it, the stillness deepens. The sound of insects fades, the hum of the wind lowers to a steady breath. The air is damp with the scent of moss and stone. The surface before you is smooth, cool beneath your hand, shaped by patience and precision. The edges curve softly, but their intent remains firm. The stone is not just heavy matter, it feels alive, composed, deliberate. You can sense how long it has waited here, untouched, unmoved, holding its silence with perfect ease. Nearby, carved into another rise of land, lies a second monument, the Masuda no Iwafune. Its form is geometric and serene, like a sleeping ship cut from the mountain itself. Two square holes lie at its crown, perfectly aligned, as if they once anchored something unseen. The ridges along its sides are measured and even, every line smooth, every angle balanced. The scale of it humbles thought. The hand that carved it must have moved with complete calm, as though guided by rhythm instead of force. You move slowly around its edge, your steps quiet on the stone. The texture beneath your fingers feels both ancient and fresh, as if time itself has been polished smooth. The stone absorbs the light, not to shine, but to rest in it. In the distance, forest shadows shift with the wind. The scent of pine rises faintly. A crow calls far away, and its sound dissolves into the quiet air. You stand still, breathing evenly, letting the scene settle around you like soft fabric. The Masuda stone sits where it has always been, on the slope of a small hill, looking out across valleys that fade into mist. No walls, no doors, no ornaments, only form and weight. When rain falls, it gathers in shallow pools, gliding slowly down its channels, leaving dark traces that dry with the sun. Every droplet that touches it becomes part of its endless rhythm. Fall, flow, fade, return. Nothing here is hurried. Every motion is part of balance. You walk a little farther, and the land opens wide. Low fields stretch between hills, filled with a pale shimmer of morning light. In the distance, the shapes of other stones rise from the earth, smaller, humbler, but sharing the same calm spirit. Some are marked by thin lines, others by small hollows, but all seem arranged by an invisible pattern, a geometry born of quiet understanding. There is no noise of machines, no sound of speech, only the slow exhale of the world. The land and the stones speak a single language, the language of stillness. You begin to feel as though time itself has forgotten to move. The body softens, the breath becomes long and steady. The heart slows. The mind, once filled with edges, now rounds into a single, smooth surface. You pause by a pool near the base of a granite rise. Water moves across small pebbles, reflecting pieces of the sky. A leaf drifts past, turns once, and settles. The surface clears again, perfect, untouched. The stones beneath shimmer in faint green light. Everything here feels older than memory, yet entirely present, like the pause between breaths. The longer you remain, the more the distinction between you and the landscape begins to fade. The stones are not separate, they are part of the same calm that moves through you. The soft rhythm of the air, the faint hum of the insects, the gentle weight of the body standing still. All of it merges into one motion, simple and continuous. You feel no need to name anything. The stone does not need a purpose. The quiet is enough. As evening falls, a pale light spreads through the sky. The clouds drift low, slow ribbons of grey and silver. The stones, touched by twilight, change colour, from grey to violet, from violet to deep blue. The air cools further, and a fine mist begins to gather around the base of the monuments. You can hear droplets forming and falling into the pool below the floating stone. The ripples move outward in perfect circles, each one smaller and fainter than the last, until the surface is still again. In this moment, you can sense the patience of the world. The stones have no urgency, no need for recognition. They do not chase meaning, they are meaning. Their endurance is not defiance, but peace. The peace of remaining exactly where they belong. You stand among them, breathing slowly, your thoughts stretched thin and wide like the horizon. Every breath you take feels ancient, as though the air itself has been shared by generations of silence. A faint wind passes through the grass and touches your face. The temperature drops slightly. You close your eyes, and behind them you can still see the outline of the stones, sharp and clear, glowing faintly in the darkness. The mind begins to drift between moments, between the now and the before, between breath and stillness. The stones become both anchor and guide, keeping you steady in the long rhythm of time. As night deepens, the sound of water and wind becomes one slow hum. The stars appear again above the hills, small points of silver against the black sky. Their reflection trembles on the surface of the pool beneath the great stone. Everything in the scene breathes together, air, stone, light, and shadow, in one calm pulse. You sit on the edge of the stone's shadow, the cool air resting lightly on your skin. The earth below holds a steady warmth, the kind that has traveled upward through centuries. You feel grounded, connected, supported. The silence here is not empty, it is full of age, of patience, of quiet strength. You let your hands rest on the ground, palms open. The small grains of sand press gently against your skin. Every particle feels alive with the slow movement of time. You breathe in deeply once more, hold it for a moment, then let it go. The breath dissolves into the dark, carried away by the same wind that has brushed over these stones for thousands of years. Somewhere far in the valley, a faint sound of water continues to murmur. The stars remain unmoving, and the stones, eternal as ever, keep their watch. The world feels still and infinite, and within that stillness, you are exactly where you need to be, calm, grounded, and safe beneath the quiet sky of Japan. The high walls of Peru. The journey continues quietly across the ocean and through the mist of time. The sound of waves fades behind you, replaced by a slow, steady hum of wind that carries the scent of stone and altitude. The air grows thinner, cooler, and the light begins to change. It is softer here, diffused through clouds that drift lazily over the Andean peaks. Before you lies the land of ancient walls, where mountains cradle cities of stone, and every horizon feels suspended in air. You arrive at a vast plateau high above the valleys. The ground is pale and dry, the grass sparse and silver in the wind. In the distance, the first lines of Sacsayhuaman rise from the hillside. Massive stones interlock like pieces of an endless puzzle. You move closer, and as the shapes sharpen, the scale of the place begins to reveal itself. Each block is taller than a person, some wider than a small room, all fitted with such precision that no space exists between them. The joints are smooth, the corners exact, the alignment deliberate and perfect. Standing before the wall, you can feel its weight without touching it. It rises in gentle curves that echo the natural flow of the mountain. The stone does not resist the land, it follows it. The surface of each block carries a soft sheen where centuries of wind have brushed across it. Lichen has taken hold in fine patches, spreading like faint green clouds across grey stone. There is no pattern beyond balance, no decoration beyond the precision itself. The wall is a language made of patience, and each line of stone is a quiet phrase spoken once and held forever. You reach out and let your fingers rest on the surface. The granite is cool, its texture smooth but alive with tiny ripples. The air around you vibrates with the hush of open space. The sky is enormous, filled with slow-moving clouds that cast calm shadows over the earth. Each breath you take feels clean and wide. The altitude draws your breath deeper, longer, slower. Every inhalation fills you with a quiet strength, and every exhalation releases what no longer needs to stay. As you walk along the wall, the stones seem to shift in tone with the changing light, from silver in the shade to soft gold when the sun breaks through. The shapes play with shadow, each curve revealing depth that the eyes did not first see. The design is not straight, not rigid, but flowing, like the movement of air across the mountain. You begin to sense the deep harmony between what was built and what already existed. These walls were not imposed on the land, they were born from it. Further along the ridge, another structure rises, the fortress-like terraces of Ollantaytambo. The path leading there is narrow, cut into the mountain itself, and lined with small stones polished smooth by countless feet. As you climb, the air thins further, and the sound of your steps becomes lighter, softer, almost weightless. The terraces unfold above you in perfect alignment, each layer a calm step in the mountain's breathing. Between them, small channels of water move gently, flowing from ancient springs. The sound is steady, rhythmic, as if the stones themselves whisper in a continuous stream. You stop near the top and look down across the valley. The air trembles with sunlight, and the mountains stretch endlessly in every direction. Below, the town rests in silence, roofs catching glints of light from the late afternoon sun. You can see the path you walked, winding like a quiet thread through the hills. Everything here feels in proportion, balanced and complete. The walls, the terraces, the land, the sky, all form one vast geometry of calm. The stones of Ollantaytambo carry the same precision as those of Sacsayhuaman. Each block meets its neighbor with perfect grace, no gaps, no unevenness. The fit is so close that even air seems to move around it, not through it. The shapes are varied, not identical, yet together they create seamless unity. The edges align like thoughts that need no words. The craftsmanship speaks softly of care and attention, of time spent without haste. You sit upon one of the terraces and let your gaze rest on the horizon. The wind here is constant, low and smooth. It passes over your face like water, carrying the scent of stone and distance. The sunlight has grown warmer, turning the walls a pale amber. Shadows lengthen slowly, sliding down the mountain's face with unhurried rhythm. The entire scene breathes, even silence feels alive. Your heartbeat slows, the body feels grounded but light. The walls around you seem to pulse faintly, as though they share the rhythm of the earth itself. The stones do not hold the past, they hold presence. They exist without effort, without need for purpose. You begin to sense that this calm has no beginning and no end. It is the quiet heartbeat of the mountain, steady and eternal. As evening arrives, the colors fade into soft blues and grays. The last light of day brushes over the stones, and for a brief moment, they glow from within. The air cools. The valley below fills with a gentle mist that rises and curls between the terraces. The sound of wind blends with the whisper of water, forming a single continuous tone that feels more like silence than sound. You sit in that sound, breathing slowly, your eyes half closed, your mind resting. Somewhere nearby, a single bird crosses the sky, its wings cutting through the quiet. Its motion leaves no trace, only a feeling of vastness. You watch until it disappears into the distance, and then the stillness returns. Larger now, softer, complete. The night settles gently over the Andes. The stars appear one by one, steady and bright. Their light reflects faintly from the surfaces of the stone, and for a moment, it feels as though the walls themselves are part of the sky. You lie back upon the earth, feeling its steady warmth beneath the cool air. The ground is solid, reassuring, eternal. You close your eyes, and the slow rhythm of wind and heart become one. Time stretches wide here. Minutes and hours dissolve into one continuous presence. The mountain watches over you, the stones breathe beside you, and the world turns quietly below. You feel suspended between earth and sky, weightless yet deeply rooted. The quiet here is not emptiness, it is fullness, completeness, balance. The mind no longer seeks to understand, it simply rests. As you drift between waking and rest, the last light fades entirely. The stars remain, unmoving, constant. Their glow touches the edges of the walls, the terraces, the valleys below. Everything becomes one tone, dark, soft, infinite. You breathe once more, slowly and deeply, and let the calm settle into your chest. The journey continues, but for now, you rest here, among the stones of Peru, beneath the endless sky, wrapped in the stillness of the mountains. The submerged stones of the sea. Far beyond the shore, where the world of air gives way to the quiet breath of the sea, the ancient stones sleep beneath the waves. The surface above them glows silver beneath the moonlight, and below it, the water turns from blue to deep green, soft and endless. The sound of the ocean changes as you descend. First the whisper of surf, then the muffled rhythm of bubbles, then the long, even silence that fills the deep. Every movement slows, every sound softens. The body becomes light, weightless, drifting in a calm without direction. The sea holds its own kind of time. It moves in long cycles, steady and unhurried, shaping everything it touches with patience. Beneath the surface, shapes begin to appear. First shadows, then lines, then the quiet geometry of something built long ago. Blocks of stone, wide and heavy, rest upon one another in deliberate patterns. Their edges are softened by sand and water, yet the structure remains clear. This is no chaos of broken rock. It is intention preserved through silence. As you drift closer, the scale becomes real. The wall stretches far in both directions, its base buried in the seabed, its upper edges brushed by the dim light filtering down. Small fish, move between the gaps, flashing silver and white. The stones themselves are smooth, their surfaces patterned by the slow passage of tides. Algae has grown in thin veils across them, adding faint shades of green and gold. Each line, each curve, each joint still holds the same quiet precision that once guided its creation. The sea moves gently across the stones, creating faint waves of sand that rise and fall with the current. The movement is slow, hypnotic, like the rhythm of breath. You watch the patterns shift and settle again, never hurried, never still. The water carries faint sounds, distant echoes of the world above, the hum of unseen creatures, the pulse of the ocean itself. It all blends into a single, soft vibration, a deep harmony that seems to resonate inside your chest. You reach out and touch the nearest block. The surface feels cool and smooth, with small traces of texture left by time. Tiny shells cling to its side. The touch connects you to something that has rested here for ages, older than memory, older than thought. The stone feels calm beneath your hand, not heavy, but steady, like a heart that has never stopped beating, slow and strong. You drift along the wall, following its length through the dim water. Shafts of light fall from above, breaking into trembling ribbons as they pass through the waves. They scatter across the stones in soft patterns, moving with the surface far above. The light fades and returns in cycles, like the slow blinking of an ancient world. Between the beams, small schools of fish glide by, turning in unison, silent and graceful. Everything moves together. The water, the light, the living, and the stone, as if all follow a rhythm older than the sea itself. The deeper you move, the quieter it becomes. The water feels thicker, the sound of the world distant. The only thing that remains constant is the gentle movement of your breath. Each inhale fills your chest with cool calm. Each exhale releases warmth that fades quickly into the ocean around you. Time has no edges here. It flows in circles like the tide, unending and smooth. You stop near the base of the wall. The stones here are larger, darker, untouched by sunlight for centuries. Their arrangement is perfect, seamless. Between them, small traces of coral have taken root, delicate and bright. Even as the sea reclaims the surface, it preserves the form beneath. Nothing is lost, only transformed into quiet. In the distance, the outline of another structure appears, a platform of stone blocks forming steps that descend into deeper water. You glide toward it, and the light fades gently as you move farther down. The pressure of the sea grows heavier, but it is not discomfort. It is an embrace. The ocean holds you in steady stillness. The water against your skin feels soft and close. The platform beneath you is vast, carved from solid rock. Its lines are straight and measured, but softened by erosion. Long grooves cut across its surface, filled now with sand. You can imagine how this place once stood above the waves, bright in the sun, a meeting of stone and sky. Now it lies beneath the ocean's quiet weight. You rest above the platform, suspended in the water. The world feels far away. The sound of your breath is the only rhythm. Each exhale sends a small trail of bubbles rising upward, catching the dim light as they go until they vanish into the silver glow above. The surface of the sea is too distant to see clearly now. Only the faint shimmer of light marks the direction of air. Below you, the stones continue into darkness. They form terraces and ledges, their edges softened but intact. A soft current begins to flow. Sand rises in small clouds, drifting past in golden threads. The The movement is slow and even, as though the sea itself breathes. You close your eyes and let the current. When you open your eyes again, the light has changed. The sun above the surface must have shifted, and the beams now fall in pale columns through the water. They illuminate the stones below like lanterns in a dream. You can see more clearly now the edges, the patterns, the symmetry hidden in shadow. The structures stretch far beyond what you first imagined, like the ruins of a city that time forgot to erase. Yet there is no sadness here, no loss, only balance. The sea and the stone have become one, and both are at peace. You rise slowly toward the surface. The light grows stronger, warmer. The blue of the water fades into silver. The sound of your breath becomes clearer, sharper as the pressure eases. The wall below drifts away, dissolving into color and distance. Above, the surface shimmers like a sheet of glass, bending and moving with every ripple. You reach it gently, breaking through into air. The world above feels quiet, lighter, but still calm. The horizon stretches endlessly. The sea is smooth and wide, reflecting the pale glow of the sky. The wind moves softly, carrying the scent of salt and distance. You float upon the water, the sound of the waves small and regular, the heartbeat of the ocean steady and kind. Somewhere beneath you, the ancient stones continue to rest. Their presence is invisible now, but you can still feel them. The calm beneath the calm, the foundation beneath the flow. They are part of the sea's memory, held in its depths, preserved in silence. The waves above may change, the sky may fade and brighten again, but the stones remain, patient and unmoving, eternal in their stillness. You lie back upon the surface and let the water cradle you. The sea carries your weight without effort. The horizon curves gently and the clouds drift slowly overhead. The body drifts between water and air, between motion and rest. The sound of waves fades into rhythm, the light softens against your closed eyes, and time becomes a single, long breath. The sea, the stones, and the sky all move together in the same endless pattern: rise, fall, rest, return. And within that rhythm you float quietly, weightless and peaceful, carried through the calm heart of the world. The circles of stone. The land rises again, quiet and endless, beneath the open breath of the sky. The air is dry here, touched by dust and light. Far to the east, the morning sun glows like a pale ember, behind thin clouds, spilling gold across a wide plain. You walk slowly, your steps soft against the soil, the wind brushing against your skin like a low tide of air. Ahead, the shapes of great stones begin to form, rings upon rings, circling outward from a calm center, as if the earth itself had drawn them in silence. This place is Rujum el-Hiri, the circle of the Golan. The stones stand low but endless, forming spirals that stretch wider than the eye can hold. From above, it would appear as a pattern, drawn with deliberate care, circles within circles, each one balanced, each one whispering the rhythm of its creation. Up close, the stones are rough and cool, their edges weathered, their colors fading from gray to soft brown beneath the rising light. They rest upon the ground with quiet certainty, unmoved for thousands of years. You move closer to the outer ring. The space between the stones is filled with small plants and the scent of dry grass. The earth here feels warm under your feet, its surface firm and grainy. The stones form no walls, no barriers, only guidance, only flow. The path between them curves gently, inviting movement without demand. The more you walk, the more you feel the balance of the design. how each circle opens into another, how the eye travels inward, not by force but by calm intention. As you cross the first ring, the air shifts. It feels cooler, lighter, as if the pattern itself changes the way the wind moves. The sound of the world becomes softer. Distant noises blur into one continuous hum. The murmur of wind, the faint call of a bird, the gentle rustle of air across the stones. Each step feels longer, slower, quieter. The body adjusts to the stillness, aligning unconsciously with the order beneath your feet. You reach the inner ring, where smaller stones form a raised platform. It is here, in the center, that the pattern closes, not to end, but to rest. The stones lie in measured symmetry, forming a chamber that seems to breathe with the air. You stand in the middle, and everything around you feels connected. The outer circles become echoes of one another, radiating outward like ripples in still water. The land beyond them stretches empty and golden, blending softly into the distant hills. The sunlight grows stronger. The air warms. Shadows shorten and then fade. The stones, once cool and pale, begin to shimmer faintly in the heat. You can see fine crystals glinting on their surfaces, catching the light, scattering it gently. The wind moves in slow spirals across the plain, tracing invisible patterns that match the geometry of the earth. The entire landscape feels like a breath drawn in and released again. You lower yourself to the ground, sitting among the inner stones. The earth beneath is warm and smooth. You run your hands across its surface, feeling the grains of sand and the faint tremor of wind moving through the soil. Every touch feels ancient. Every sound, though faint, carries weight. There is no rush here. The circles have no beginning, no end. They exist only as presence, perfect, balanced, and still. As you breathe, your body begins to mirror the rhythm of the land. Each inhale expands into space. Each exhale releases into the horizon. The lines of the stones seem to guide your breath, softening thought, quieting motion. The circles hold you like the calm surface of a lake. The air tastes faintly of salt and sun. The heat on your skin deepens, steady and kind. You look toward the edges of the rings where the stones fade into distance. Beyond them, the plain stretches empty and bright. A faint shimmer of heat rises from the ground, bending the air. The wind carries with it small grains of dust that drift in slow spirals, catching the light as they fall. Everything moves in circles here. The dust, the wind, the horizon itself. Time feels like a loop, turning softly upon itself, never rushing forward, never falling back. In the calm of midday, silence becomes complete. The world seems to hold its breath. Even the air stops for a moment, suspended between motion and rest. You can feel your pulse, slow, steady, matching the weight of the stones around you. They are silent witnesses to the passing of centuries, yet they have not changed. Their patience is endless, their presence unbroken. You sit among them, part of that patience, part of that stillness. When the wind returns, it comes gently, moving through the stones like a soft voice that hums without words. It flows in spirals, the same shape as the rings, circling around you, wrapping you in warmth and balance. The light softens, the shadows lengthen again, the world exhales. Everything returns to motion, but nothing hurries. You watch the sun tilt slowly westward, its glow turning the stones to amber and gold. You rise and walk along the inner ring once more. The ground feels familiar now, as though your feet have memorized its rhythm. The space between the stones opens and closes like breathing. You follow the curve, letting it lead you outward, back through each ring until the horizon spreads wide again. With every step, the circles grow larger, their lines dissolving into the open land, yet the sense of order remains. You can still feel the geometry beneath your feet. Steady, invisible, eternal. The day begins to fade, the air cools, the wind carries the scent of evening. Far above, the first faint stars begin to appear, scattered like dust across the sky. The plain grows darker, the stones turning from gold to grey, from grey to shadow. The circles fade into the land, becoming one with the earth that holds them. But even in the dim light, their presence remains clear, not to the eye, but to the quiet within. You sit once more, facing the west, where the sun has almost vanished. The horizon glows faintly orange, then softens to violet, then fades into blue. The last light touches the tops of the stones, and they gleam for a moment before disappearing into dusk. The air is still again, and the silence returns, deeper and wider than before. In the darkness, you can feel the circles without seeing them. The air moves gently around you in the same spiral motion, brushing against your skin like slow breath. The stars above form their own circles, constellations turning around a fixed point that never moves. The pattern repeats in sky and stone alike, in heartbeat and breath, in the endless rhythm of the world. You close your eyes. The warmth of the day lingers in your skin. The scent of the earth fills your lungs. The quiet expands through your body. The circles of stone have done their work. They have drawn you inward, not to a destination, but to stillness. You feel the world continue to move around you, yet you remain at the calm center of its turning. The night deepens. The stars move slowly. The land breathes beneath you, steady and kind. And in that deep quiet, you rest. Within the endless pattern of the stones, beneath the ancient sky, carried by the soft rhythm of time itself. The split stone of the desert. The desert stretches before you, wide and pale beneath the quiet sky. There is no sound here, only the slow movement of wind carrying thin veils of sand. The air tastes dry, sun-warmed, filled with dust that shimmers like powdered glass. You walk slowly, each step sinking slightly into the earth, each motion leaving a trace that the wind begins to erase the moment it appears. The light is steady, soft in its brightness, endless in its reach. Far ahead, something rises from the plain. Two tall stones standing side by side, divided by a single perfect line. As you draw nearer, the shape becomes clear. Two halves of one great stone, parted cleanly, as though time itself had drawn a blade of light between them. This is Al-Nazla, the split stone of the desert. It stands balanced upon small pedestals of earth, each half resting easily against the weight of the other, the gap between them so precise that a shadow lives there all day long. The cut runs straight from top to base, smooth, flawless, exact. The sight quiets the mind. It asks for no interpretation, only stillness. The heat presses gently upon your shoulders. The air flickers in waves, bending the horizon. The stone rises from the sand in tones of gold and rose, its surface marked with faint carvings. Outlines of animals, figures, patterns that have almost faded away. You reach out and touch the edge. It is warm, the warmth of sunlight gathered through centuries. The surface feels smooth, the texture fine, like the skin of the world itself. A slight vibration hums beneath your fingers, the pulse of heat moving through mineral. The silence deepens. You walk slowly around the stone, tracing the clean line of the split. It remains the same on every side, even, unbroken, measured. There are no chips, no irregularities, no sign of force. The two halves lean gently away from one another, yet the balance is perfect, held by gravity and patience. The ground below them is bare, a soft layer of sand and dust compacted by wind. Small shadows form beneath the bases, dark pools that shift with the sun. The light changes constantly, but the stone never does. The wind begins to rise, moving through the gap with a low hum. It is a single tone, long and hollow, carrying a rhythm that matches your breath. The sound is neither sharp nor loud. It is the sound of distance itself. You stand within that sound, eyes half closed, feeling the air pass by. It moves through hair and fabric, lifting and lowering, steady, endless. The desert becomes a vast ocean of motion without water. The color of the world changes with time. In the morning, it was pale gold. In midday, it glows white and hot. And now, as the sun lowers, it turns to copper and deep amber. The stones absorb this light, holding it quietly within their mass. Their edges glow softly, and the split between them becomes a dark river of shadow. You can see the thin line tremble with the heat, bending and straightening with the air. The desert breathes, the stones remain. You sit at a distance on a low mound of sand, watching as the day folds into evening. The sky widens even more, a dome of color fading from orange to violet. No sound breaks the calm except the quiet rhythm of wind against rock. Small grains of sand move across the ground like sparks gliding in waves around your feet. They gather, scatter, and gather again, tracing small shifting patterns that vanish almost as soon as they form. Every motion feels part of the same slow pulse that fills this place, a pulse too wide to measure, too deep to end. The split stone stands at the center of it all. It does not speak, it does not move, it exists with a certainty that needs nothing else. Its two halves mirror the balance between presence and space, between what is whole and what has been divided. In its silence, it teaches the same truth as the desert, that nothing is broken, only arranged. You breathe in, the air dry and warm. You breathe out, the body soft and still. The rhythm of the breath begins to match the rhythm of the world around you. As twilight deepens, a faint coolness touches the skin. The wind slows, the sand settles, and the first stars appear along the horizon. The stones change again, their golden tones fading into soft grey. The shadow between them turns almost invisible, blending with the dusk. You can still feel the space there, but not see it. It becomes an idea of distance rather than sight. A calm, perfect division that exists even in darkness. You walk closer once more. The surface now feels cooler, smoother. The faint carvings are hard to see, but you can sense their presence beneath your fingertips. They trace stories that no longer have words, gestures carved into memory. The desert holds them just as it holds the stones, without judgment, without change. Everything here remains in balance. Air and earth, heat and coolness, light and night. You tilt your head back and look upward. The stars have multiplied, quiet and sharp against the black sky. Their light reflects faintly from the surface of the stone, scattering in silver points. The wind returns gentler now, carrying the scent of the desert at night. Dry sage, sand, stone, and the faint chill of distance. You listen, and the sound of your own breathing becomes part of that space. The desert accepts it. The stone accepts it. The world folds around you like a blanket of stillness. You sit once more at the base of the split stone. The sand is cool beneath your hands, fine and soft. You close your eyes. The warmth of the day lingers in the stone behind you, seeping slowly through your back. The mind begins to quiet. Thoughts dissolve into texture, into sound, into nothing. The only thing that remains is rhythm. The slow inhale, the slow exhale, the deep, endless calm of the desert. Above you, the stars move in patterns too slow to see. Their light passes over the land like waves of silent fire. Far away, the horizon glows faintly with the last light of the sun, a thin thread of gold that fades into the black. The world sleeps in layers: sky, air, earth, and stone. Each one breathes, each one rests. The two halves of the split stone stand unmoving, watching the night grow, their balance perfect, their silence complete. In that silence, time softens. The division between then and now, between movement and stillness, disappears. You can feel the desert's heartbeat under the sand, slow and steady, rising through the soles of your feet. The breath moves with it. The mind floats just above thought. Everything is still, everything alive. The wind passes once more through the gap between the stones, and the sound returns. Low, resonant, eternal. It hums like a note held by the world itself. The sound fades, and what remains is calm. You stay there until the night settles fully. The stars have filled the sky. The moon rises pale and round, casting a cool glow across the land. The split stone gleams faintly, its edges outlined in silver, the gap between them a line of pure shadow. The desert stretches beyond, smooth and endless. There is nothing left to seek, nothing left to find, only stillness, only breath, only the quiet presence of what has always been here. You lie back upon the sand, feeling it mold gently to your shape. The air above you moves softly. The stars drift. The split stone stands silent, its two halves forever together, forever apart, forever whole. The breath slows, the body grows weightless, and the desert holds you as it holds the stones. Without question, without end, within the calm that never changes. The Hidden Chamber of Egypt. The desert of Egypt stretches in every direction, quiet and wide, a landscape of endless sand and sun. The air shimmers with light, soft at the edges, like the slow breathing of the earth itself. Far on the horizon, the dunes roll in gentle curves, their lines drawn by the wind. The sound of the world is a low hum, the whisper of sand shifting, the faint echo of distance. You walk slowly, your feet sinking into the warm grains, each step measured, each breath filled with heat and silence. The path leads downward toward a place where the sand begins to dip, where shadows gather even in daylight. You follow the slope, the air cooling as you descend. The sound of the wind fades, replaced by a deeper quiet. Ahead, the ground opens into an ancient trench of stone. The light of the sun falls across the entrance of a chamber half buried by time. This is the Osirion, a sanctuary of stillness hidden beneath the sands near Abydos, where great blocks of granite stand in silence around a pool of water. You move closer, stepping into the shade. The temperature drops, the light softens, and the scent of warm earth gives way to cool stone. The air is still, heavy with moisture. The water below reflects the ceiling in faint ripples, casting soft patterns of light along the pillars. The surface glimmers with every breath of movement. Around you, the walls rise from the depths, immense slabs of granite, cut with precision, aligned with invisible order. The space feels vast yet enclosed, as if the world above were holding its breath. You take a slow step forward. The echo of your footfall meets the water and returns as a low, rolling sound that dissolves into the quiet. The pillars here are immense, each one smooth and square, their surfaces unbroken by time. The reflections of their bases waver in the dark pool, creating a mirrored forest of stone and light. You pause and listen. The sound of a single droplet falls from above, ripples outward, and then disappears. The silence that follows is deeper than before, almost alive. The chamber smells of age and calm, of water that has waited for centuries, and of stone that has not felt the wind in 1,000 years. The air cools your skin. You draw a slow breath, and it fills your lungs like a tide rising. You exhale, and the sound blends with the stillness. Each breath becomes part of the space, a rhythm shared with the stone itself. You move around the pool, tracing the edges of the pillars with your fingertips. The stone is smooth and cold, its corners sharp even after the passing of time. Fine grains of sand cling to its surface, left by the slow drift of air. The light that filters in from above shifts with each moment, painting the chamber in changing tones. Pale gold, soft grey, then deep blue as clouds pass over the sun. The water reflects it all, translating brightness into motion. You pause near the center, where a narrow ledge crosses above the pool. You step onto it carefully, feeling the stone firm beneath your feet. The air grows thicker, the silence deeper. Beneath you, the reflection of the pillars glows faintly in the dim light. The water below moves just enough to remind you of its depth, a dark mirror that keeps the secrets of the past. You look down, and the reflection looks back, calm and unchanging. The sense of time here is different. Minutes stretch, sounds travel slowly, and every movement seems to last longer than it should. The chamber exists outside of urgency. Nothing here rushes, nothing fades. The weight of the stone, the depth of the water, the thickness of the air, all merge into one steady presence. It feels as though the earth itself built this place not to be seen, but to rest. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the air wrap around you. The stillness becomes complete. In that silence, your own heartbeat sounds like distant thunder, slow and even. It fills the chamber and returns in soft echoes that fade upward into the dark. You realize that here, even sound moves differently. It has weight. It falls like dust, settles, and becomes part of the air. When you open your eyes again, the light has changed. A single beam from the opening above touches the surface of the water, drawing a golden line that cuts across the darkness. It climbs the side of a pillar, then fades into shadow. The beam moves slowly, marking time without numbers, tracing the same path it has followed for ages. You watch it until it vanishes, leaving the chamber in soft half-light. You walk along the edge again, feeling the ground firm beneath you, the coolness of the air steady against your skin. Small ripples follow your movement, crossing the surface of the pool in gentle waves. They meet in the center, form patterns, then dissolve into stillness. Every motion here returns to calm. Every vibration fades into silence. You sit upon a low stone near the water's edge. The surface is smooth, slightly damp. The air smells faintly of mineral and depth. You rest your hands upon your knees and breathe. The chamber seems to breathe with you, expanding, contracting, inhaling, exhaling. The sound of the outside world has vanished completely. Only the pulse of this hidden place remains. As time passes, the light grows dimmer. The small opening above catches the last of the sun. A faint ray slides across the floor, touches the water, and then disappears. Shadows lengthen, folding across the stone. The pillars fade into silhouettes, their reflections merging with darkness. The air cools further, and the water's surface grows still as glass. You feel the deep weight of the earth pressing gently above, not heavy, but protective, like a quiet roof made of time. In the growing darkness, you can no longer see the far walls, but you can sense their presence. The shape of the chamber remains clear in your mind. The symmetry, the proportions, the slow rhythm of its design. It is not a place of mystery now, but of balance. Everything here exists exactly as it should. You inhale, feeling the cool air fill your chest, and exhale into the silence. The breath disappears into the stone, becomes part of its calm. Above, the first faint stars begin to show through the opening. Their light falls in silver points onto the water, flickering with the movement of air. You watch them, small and distant, and yet perfectly still. The chamber below mirrors the sky above, pillars as constellations, reflections as infinite echoes. The boundary between above and below dissolves. Everything becomes one space, one breath, one slow pulse of existence. You lean back against the stone wall, eyes half closed. The cool surface supports you. The air moves lightly across your face. You feel safe, held, surrounded by calm. The weight of the world above feels distant, softened by layers of silence. The water murmurs faintly as it settles again. The sound is small, but it fills the chamber completely. You remain there until the night deepens. The air becomes still again, the light fades entirely, and the darkness becomes complete. In that darkness, you feel the presence of the earth around you. Vast, timeless and kind. The stone holds its place. The water holds its mirror. And you, resting within both, become still. The hidden chamber of Egypt remains as it has always been. Cool, silent, eternal. Above it, the desert sleeps beneath the moon, its dunes silver and soft, its air unmoving. Beneath it, the stone keeps its patience. The world continues its slow turning, but down here, everything has already arrived. You take one last breath, deep and quiet, and let it go. The air leaves your lungs and becomes part of the chamber's peace. The mind drifts. The heartbeat slows. The silence deepens. The ancient calm of the hidden chamber gathers around you, holds you gently, and carries you into rest. The ancient alignments of Europe. The morning in southern Europe begins with light that feels ancient. The air is still, cool, carrying the faint scent of stone and wild grass. You walk slowly across a low hill in Spain, the ground beneath your feet scattered with small pebbles that shift softly with every step. Ahead, the earth rises into a gentle mound, rounded and calm. It looks simple from a distance, a hill among other hills, yet beneath its surface lies something older than memory. A long chamber, carved from stone, waiting in silence. This is the dolmen of Doto. The entrance opens like a narrow passage, a quiet mouth in the hillside. You pause at its threshold, where the air changes from warmth to cool. The sunlight fades behind you, replaced by dim, soft shadows. The smell of the earth deepens, dry soil, smooth stone, the faint touch of moss. You step inside. The sound of the outside world disappears, replaced by a low, steady silence that feels endless. The passage is narrow and smooth. Stones form the walls, stacked in deliberate balance. Their surfaces are uneven yet harmonious, each one placed with care. The air is cool and still, unmoving. The light from the entrance fades with every step, and soon only a faint glow remains, slipping along the edges of the walls. You can see faint carvings on the stones, spirals, curves and lines, shapes that seem to move as you look at them. They repeat like the slow rhythm of a breath, quiet and even. You move deeper until the passage widens into a small chamber. The ceiling lowers slightly and the space feels close but not confining. The air carries the weight of years, but not in sadness. It feels patient, untouched, eternal. You sit upon a flat stone near the center, and the silence wraps around you. It is the kind of silence that has no sound at all, only the awareness of stillness. You breathe slowly, and the sound of your breath becomes part of the room, a soft echo that fades into the stone. As you wait, a faint beam of light touches the wall. It comes through a narrow slit near the entrance, a single line of brightness cutting through the dimness. The beam moves slowly across the carvings, tracing the spirals one by one. The light shifts as the sun outside climbs higher, illuminating the chamber in soft gold. It lingers for a while, then fades again, as the sun passes beyond its perfect angle. This light has followed the same path for thousands of years, entering the chamber at the same moment of the same day, marking time not with numbers, but with presence. You rest in that quiet rhythm, feeling how steady the earth has remained. The builders of this place knew the pattern of the sky. They shaped stone to match the motion of the sun, creating harmony between light and darkness, between the turning of the world and the patience of what stands still. You breathe slowly, the light fades again, and the chamber returns to shadow. After some time, you rise and leave the passage. The air outside feels bright and new, filled with warmth. The sky above stretches wide and blue, the hills rolling in soft green waves. Far to the north, beyond seas and valleys, lies another place, a mound older still, resting in Ireland's valley of the Boyne. Its stones, too, wait for light that visits only once a year. You imagine yourself standing there now before the ancient entrance of Newgrange. The air is damp, the grass thick and cold beneath your feet. The mound rises high, covered in small white stones that gleam faintly in the mist. At its base, a long passage leads inward, just wide enough for one person to walk through. The walls are made of smooth rock, engraved with spirals and flowing lines that seem to move under the flicker of torchlight. Inside, the air is cool and smells faintly of water and earth. The ceiling narrows and then opens into a circular chamber, its roof rising like a shallow dome. The stones fit perfectly, locked together in quiet symmetry. You can feel the weight of the world above, resting easily upon this shape. In the center, the air holds a kind of expectancy. Not tension, not sound, only the sense that something is waiting. Then at the edge of morning, a faint glow appears. The sun outside rises slowly, and through a small opening above the doorway, a single ray of light enters. It moves through the passage like a golden thread, straight and sure. The beam reaches the center, strikes the chamber floor, and expands. The spirals on the wall shimmer in its glow. The air turns gold. The entire space breathes with light. For a few minutes, the world above and the world below are the same, joined by one beam, one moment, one rhythm. Then slowly, the light retreats, the day continues, and the chamber returns to shadow. You remain still. Even in the dark, you can feel the warmth of that light. The air carries it for a while, then releases it back into quiet. The experience feels less like an event and more like a heartbeat. Steady, inevitable, eternal. These stones do not chase time. They welcome it. When you step outside, the mist has begun to lift. The land glows with the pale light of morning. The river below reflects the sky, slow and silver. The mound behind you remains still, its surface bright, its heart hidden once more. You stand in the calm of the open air, feeling the connection between all that moves and all that rests. The same light that entered the chamber now touches your face, soft and even. You take a breath, the air tastes of stone and dew, the wind moves lightly across the grass, carrying the scent of distant rain. The sky above you is vast, its light steady, its motion slow. The world feels wide and quiet, held together by balance. Stone and sun, shadow and warmth, silence and sound. As you begin to walk again, your footsteps make small impressions in the soft ground. The earth receives them, holds them, and slowly erases them as you move on. The horizon glows faintly gold, the hills turning silver in the early light. The past and the present seem to overlap, like layers of the same dream. The ancient alignments of Europe remain behind you, patient as ever, marking the same cycles, waiting for the same light. And as you walk into the morning, your breath joins their rhythm. Slow, steady, timeless. The giant stones of Lebanon. The wind moves gently through the valley of Bekaa, carrying the scent of cedar and sun-warmed dust. The air glows with a pale golden hue, and far in the distance, the mountains of Lebanon rise softly into the horizon, their outlines blurred by a faint haze. At their base lies a plateau of stone, calm, immense, timeless. This is Baalbek, the resting place of the giant stones. You walk along a narrow path that winds upward through the ruins. The ground beneath your feet crunches softly with each step, the sound small and dry in the still air. Before you, the first wall appears, its surface smooth and pale under the sunlight. The stones are larger than imagination. Some the size of small houses, others lying half buried in the earth, as though the ground itself could not let them go. You pause at the base of one. The stone towers above you, cool to the touch despite the heat of the day. Its face is flat and flawless, its corners sharp, its line perfectly straight. You press your palm against it. The vibration of the world feels distant here. The surface carries only a stillness, dense, calm, eternal. You move along the wall, tracing the seams between the blocks. They are so fine that a blade of light could not pass between them. Each line follows the next without interruption, forming a pattern of balance and patience. The air around you is silent. Even the wind seems to hesitate before crossing the stones. Further ahead, the terrace opens wide, revealing columns that rise high into the sky. Their shapes are weathered but strong, their color the same soft gold as the surrounding hills. Light filters through them in narrow bands, painting the ground with stripes of brightness and shade. You walk through those shifting corridors of light, your shadow moving gently beside you, long and quiet. The air smells faintly of warm dust and stone. Birds circle high above, their wings glinting white in the sun, but their cries are lost in the vastness of the place. Every sound seems distant, absorbed by the silence. The stones, though immense, make no claim to power. They stand without effort, without need, simply being what they have always been. You reach the far edge of the platform. Below, in the quarry, lies the stone of the pregnant woman, a single block larger than all the rest, half buried in the earth. Its surface gleams faintly in the sun. You descend the slope slowly, the air growing warmer as you approach. Standing beside it, you feel its vastness fill the space around you. It stretches 20 meters in length, its weight beyond comprehension, yet it rests there as if floating, its mass balanced perfectly upon the earth. You sit nearby on a smaller block that has broken free from the quarry wall. The stone beneath you radiates the warmth of the afternoon sun. You look across the valley. The fields are quiet, the horizon pale with dust, the sky endless and still. The world feels suspended, held in a single, long breath. The light changes slowly as the day passes. The golden tones deepen to amber, and the air cools by degrees. Shadows slide along the walls, filling the cracks and corners, till the stones glow softly from within. The wind rises again, a low murmur moving between the columns above. It carries the scent of dry earth and the faint whisper of distance. The sound is low, smooth, continuous, like the sea moving somewhere beyond sight. You close your eyes for a moment and listen. The stones seem to hum faintly, not in sound but in presence. You can feel their weight pressed deep into the ground, yet they hold no burden. Their stillness feels light, as if they belong equally to earth and air. The balance is perfect. You breathe in slowly, letting the warm air fill your chest, and exhale into the calm. When you open your eyes again, the sun has reached the horizon. The light spreads across the stone in long, soft lines, turning it the color of honey. The valley glows. Every surface seems alive with reflection. The columns throw thin shadows that stretch and blend with the dusk. The edges of the mountains fade into a soft blue. Everything slows, even the air feels heavy with quiet. You climb back to the upper terrace. The stones beneath your feet hold the day's warmth, and each step releases it in waves that rise through the soles of your feet. You reach the highest level and stand for a moment, watching the land below. The sky above you deepens into violet, the first star flickering faintly through the haze. The light no longer shines upon the stones, it rests within them. The silence grows thicker as night begins. The last of the wind drifts away. You can hear the faint sound of your own breath, the quiet beat of your heart, the gentle movement of air across your skin. Everything else is still. The stones stand in darkness, vast silhouettes against the fading sky, patient as the mountains that surround them. You sit down upon the terrace floor, leaning against one of the great blocks. The stone feels cool now, its surface smooth against your back. The warmth of the day lingers faintly within it, radiating through the air. You tilt your head back and look upward. The stars have multiplied, bright, silent, infinite. They form slow arcs above the valley, moving too gently to see. Yet you can feel their motion in the rhythm of your breath. The night grows deeper. The stones seem to absorb the starlight, their outlines fading until they become part of the sky. The earth, the stone, the air, all blend into one vast stillness. The world feels both immense and intimate, endless yet close. You breathe once more, slow and deep, and the calm of the valley settles through you like sand through water. The giant stones of Lebanon remain unmoving, their weight balanced perfectly between past and present, silence and sound. They have seen every light and shadow, every season and sky. Yet here, in this moment, they exist only as peace, quiet, patient, eternal. You close your eyes. The air is cool against your skin. The stone behind you supports your body, steady and kind. The heartbeat slows. The breath softens. The night folds around you and you rest within it. Still, weightless, endless, like the stones themselves. The frozen stones of the north. The wind of the north moves in long, quiet waves across the frozen plains. The air is thin and pure, carrying the faint scent of snow and salt. The light is pale, soft as breath, and it touches everything with a cold silver glow. In the distance, the horizon seems endless, white meeting grey, sky merging with earth. You walk slowly, each step crunching softly in the snow, the sound small and rhythmic beneath the vastness of the world. The land here feels ancient. Beneath the snow, great stones lie scattered, their shapes worn smooth by centuries of wind and ice. Some stand upright, others lean or lie half buried in frost. They rise from the ground like memories, grey and still, their surfaces traced with thin lines of frozen water. You approach one, the largest among them, and lay your hand upon its side. The stone is cold, but not lifeless. It hums faintly under your touch, as if holding the echo of warmth from a time long past. The air moves gently around you, carrying tiny flakes that drift without sound. They melt upon your skin, leaving the faintest trace of moisture before vanishing. The world feels weightless. Even the mountains in the distance seem to float, their outlines softened by mist. You take a slow breath. The air enters cool and clean, filling your chest with stillness. When you exhale, the mist of your breath joins the drifting snow and disappears. You walk among the stones. They stand in no pattern you can see, yet there is a quiet rhythm in their spacing. Each one faces the same endless horizon. Between them, the ground is marked by shallow ridges where ice has gathered and broken, forming faint paths that guide your steps. The silence of this place is complete, yet not empty. It feels alive, filled with the soft vibration of the cold earth beneath. The light begins to change as the day fades. The sun, low and distant, slides behind a curtain of thin clouds. The air grows colder and the color of the snow deepens from white to pale blue. Shadows stretch long between the stones, merging together in slow movement. The wind whispers against your coat, its sound constant and low, like a steady heartbeat beneath the ice. You find a place to rest beside a cluster of smaller stones. Their surfaces are covered with frost, each crystal sharp and perfect, reflecting the last of the light. You sit down slowly, your body sinking slightly into the snow. The ground feels firm but gentle beneath you. The cold touches your skin but does not bite. It soothes like cool water on tired hands. You breathe out and the sound blends with the wind, soft and fading. As night begins to settle, the sky opens wider. Clouds drift away, revealing a vast dome of stars, countless, bright, and unmoving. Their light spills across the snow, turning it to silver. The stones shimmer faintly, each one holding a small reflection of the sky. The world feels both infinite and near, every sound and shape, clear but quiet. You look upward. The stars seem to turn slowly, though you cannot see their motion. The air feels still, yet alive with unseen movement. Somewhere far to the north, the faint glow of the aurora appears. A slow wave of green light rising and falling across the horizon. It spreads like breath, flowing through the sky in silence. The reflection of that light moves across the stones and snow, painting the world in shades of emerald and white. You let your eyes follow the movement until it becomes one with your breathing. The light rises, pauses, fades. The rhythm is steady, the same as the pulse beneath your skin. Time dissolves in that motion. You feel neither here nor elsewhere, neither past nor future. Only now. Only this soft space of breath and light. The cold deepens, the wind grows softer, more distant. You pull your coat closer around you, though the air no longer feels harsh. The body has grown quiet, its warmth steady and calm. You reach out once more to touch the stone beside you. It feels smoother now, as if the frost itself were breathing. You imagine the ice sinking slowly into its cracks, the moisture freezing and expanding, shaping the surface grain by grain through endless seasons. The stone has learned patience beyond measure. the sound of the world narrows to three things: the low wind, your breath, and the faint hum of silence between them. The stars above shimmer like frozen rain, and the snow beneath glows faintly in their reflection. The air smells faintly of mineral and cold water. You close your eyes. The sound fades even more, until you can only feel it. A pulse beneath the skin, a rhythm that matches the slow turning of the sky. Time passes without measure. Minutes or hours might have gone. When you open your eyes again, the aurora has drifted higher, filling the heavens with soft green light. It moves across the snow in wide ribbons, touching each stone as it passes. The air seems to hum in response, a tone so deep it can only be felt, not heard. The entire landscape breathes, slow, silent, endless. You rise gently to your feet. The snow gives way beneath you with a faint sound, crisp and even. You look once more across the plain. The stones stand unmoved, their shadows long and calm. The mountains beyond remain hidden in haze, their outlines faint and blue. You breathe in deeply, letting the air fill your lungs, and exhale slowly into the cold. The mist of your breath glows in the aurora's light before it fades into the dark. You take a final step forward, then stop. There is nowhere to go, nothing to reach. The world around you is already whole. The stones of the north stand silent, the sky moves gently above, and the air carries your breath away like smoke. You stand between earth and sky, between stillness and motion, between the warmth of life and the cool calm of the world that holds it. The aurora fades. The stars remain. The wind rests. You close your eyes, and for a long moment, you feel the vast quiet of the frozen land settle into you. The breath slows, the heartbeat softens, the cold becomes warmth, the silence becomes soundless sleep. And beneath the endless sky of the north, you rest, still, weightless and whole, among the frozen stones that have never moved and never needed to. The final resting light. The journey reaches its quiet end beneath a sky that holds both dawn and night at once. The air is soft, neither warm nor cold, a perfect balance between breath and silence. Around you, the land is open and wide, a vast plain without edge. The wind moves gently across it, carrying no sound, only a soft rhythm like the heartbeat of the earth. Every step you take now feels slower, lighter, as if gravity itself has loosened its hold. In the distance, faint shapes of stone rise from the ground. Echoes of all the places you have seen, gathered together in stillness. The curved walls of Peru, the submerged pillars beneath the sea, the circles of the Golan, the split stone of the desert, the hidden chamber of Egypt, the frozen monoliths of the north, all present, yet weightless. They do not stand apart. They merge into one another like reflections upon water, each one a memory of patience, of silence, of balance. The light across the horizon begins to change. It is not sunrise, not sunset, but something between. A soft golden glow that hovers just above the line of the earth. It touches the stones one by one, and they seem to breathe, as if the light itself were alive. The air shimmers gently, and the shadow of each stone stretches towards you, blending into the ground until it disappears. You walk among them slowly. The ground beneath your feet is smooth, cool, made of fine dust that moves like silk. The sound of your steps is low, steady, almost musical. Each movement feels effortless, as though the body itself has become part of the air. You pause at the center of the plain. All around you, the stones form a circle, vast and quiet. The light gathers there, soft and silver, reflecting in the air like mist. The wind shifts. It carries the scent of earth and rain, the faint echo of distant seas, the cool breath of mountains. Every place you have traveled through seems to live within this wind, desert and forest, ocean and ice, valley and sky. You breathe it in slowly and it feels complete. Each inhale expands through your chest. Each exhale dissolves into the open air. The rhythm is simple, continuous, eternal. You lower yourself to the ground and sit. The surface is smooth and cool, shaped perfectly to your body. The air wraps around you like water. You look toward the horizon again. The golden light has widened, spreading across the plain in a slow wave. The stones begin to glow softly from within, their surfaces warming to pale amber. The shadows fade completely. There is no contrast now, no edge between light and dark, only stillness. The world grows quieter, even the wind begins to rest. The sound of your breathing becomes the only motion left, steady and calm. You close your eyes and the images of the journey rise and fall behind them. The shifting sand, the moving water, the mountain stones, the frozen light. Each one appears, fades, and melts into the next until they form a single stream of calm. Time no longer moves forward here. It expands outward, wide and soft. The pulse of the earth seems to slow to match your own. Your thoughts drift, becoming lighter, dissolving into air. There is nothing left to name, nothing left to hold, only the deep rhythm of breath and the warmth of stillness spreading through the body. You lie back upon the ground. The surface supports you completely, firm but gentle. The air above feels close, like a blanket made of light. The faint hum of the world continues beneath you, steady and low. The same sound that has followed through every place. The hum of stone, of water, of silence. The light above changes again, fading slowly from gold to silver, from silver to grey. It does not dim, it softens, spreading evenly across the sky. The horizon disappears. There is no direction, no distance, only the smooth curve of air and earth blending together, infinite and calm. You take another breath. The air enters without effort, fills every space and leaves again without sound. The heart slows, the body grows heavy, yet weightless. You feel as though you are sinking, but not downward, inward, into the quiet center of everything. The world around you continues its slow rhythm. Far above, the stars begin to appear one by one, steady and pale. Their light touches the stones, turns them silver, then fades again. The air cools slightly and the wind returns for a moment, not to stir, but to soothe. It moves across your face like a slow exhale, then drifts away. You can still feel the presence of the stones, though you no longer see them. Their energy remains, low and steady, like a heartbeat beneath the earth. The same pulse that moved through the mountains, through the oceans, through the frozen plains, now moves through you. There is no separation between the two. You are part of the stillness now. The same silence, the same patience, the same peace. The final light hovers above you, soft as dust. It drifts downward slowly, falling through the air in quiet ripples. It touches your skin, warm and weightless like the last breath of the day. You feel it spread through you, from your chest, through your arms to your fingertips. Every muscle softens, every thought slows. The body becomes only breath, and the breath becomes only light. The silence deepens once more. The world holds still. The light fades to grey, then to silver, then to something beyond colour. The edges of your awareness begin to blur. The air grows warmer, the heartbeat fainter. You are neither awake nor asleep, simply resting, floating in the soft center of calm. There is no need to move, no need to think. Everything that was, everything that is, and everything that will be, all exist in the same quiet now. The journey has no end because it never truly began. It was only a circle, a slow return to the stillness that has always waited beneath sound, beneath thought, beneath time. The breath deepens once more, then softens to almost nothing. The body rests fully. The air settles. The final light fades into darkness, not absence, but peace. And in that peace you remain, still, quiet, and whole, carried gently into sleep beneath the eternal calm of the world.